This is Amy Poehler. My new movie, Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, is coming to theaters June 14th, and it's making me feel joy and sadness and anger, definitely some disgust, and I think a little fear. But I'm also feeling these new emotions like anxiety, embarrassment, envy, and ennui.
It's what you call the boredom.
Okay, that one was weird. It's gonna be the feel everything movie of the summer. Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, rated PG, parental guidance suggested. Only in theaters June 14th. Get tickets now.
Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race recap show for season 16, episode 15, titled Lip Sync Lalaparuza Smackdown Reunited. My name is Joe Batanz, and I am joined, as always, by one Culturisto from Bravo, Bravo, effing Bravo. Please say,
I'm ready to fight.
To Mr. Nathan Patrick Brown.
Hi, Joe.
Wait, I like when it drops right here. Hello, Nathan. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Yeah. I'm doing very, very, very well. We're coming up here, the penultimate episode of RuPaul's Drag Race season 16. Now, in seasons past, certain co-hosts would be like so excited for the season to end and be done. Where are you on this?
I've really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process. You know, it's nice to chat with you every week.
This is not the hardest job in the world?
No, it's not.
It's not the hardest job in the world. You're right. Okay, guys, let me tell you, Nathan and I had a very lengthy, long, and interesting conversation over at Just Between Us Girls. We talked about threesomes. We talked about exes. We talked about
microaggressions.
It was a whole
everything.
It was a very involved Just Between Us Girls. So if you want to hear that, join over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia at the executive tier and above. And I've mentioned it before, the executive tier and then one above it, exclusive tier. Those are right now, you could sign up 1 week free. Just try it out. Listen to 1 week free.
Wow.
So anyway, go over to patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. And like I said, executive and exclusive tier have a 1 week of free. This week, the girls reunite in the workroom before battling in a lip sync Lalaparuza for the title of Queen of She Done Already Done Had Hers. After 9 lip syncs, Morphine Love Dion snatches the crown and a $50,000 tip. Nathan, did the right person win the lip sync? And yeah,
absolutely. This was Morphine's moment. I think she tore it up. I really enjoyed seeing it, but it was also so great to see so many of the queens have their moment and their like little redemption storyline. Like I really enjoyed this format where it's the returning queens for the Lalaparuza. Like, yeah, maybe it's halted a bit of the momentum of the whole show, but I thought it was just really fun to see some of them again and to like touch base with Mirage. And I don't know, it was really enjoyable and I really enjoyed the episode. How about you?
Yeah, I think, somebody wrote to me today and was like, oh, I feel really sorry for you having to cover this episode. And they're not wrong. It's not an easy episode to cover nor an exciting one to cover. But it was an easy, exciting, and fun episode to watch. There is a difference.
Totally.
And the lip syncs were very fun. And, it seemed like they truly were, because there were no stakes in terms of who's going to win the competition, the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I felt RuPaul was a little more fair. Or the judging seemed more fair. I'm sure there was some shenanigans, but for the most part, it seemed very fair. And I feel the right person won. I kind of called it. Not that I'm a big predictor. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I did pull.
You did call this pretty much.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. For people who think, oh, look at me, I'm cool, I can predict things. We are going to play today the game where we go back to Meet the Queens and listen to the predictions that Nathan and I had for Meet the Queens and see how we did there. We'll do that at the end. All right, well, why don't we do this? We've been doing this. I think I've been liking it and think this kind of episode kind of calls for it. Why don't we take a break now? And then when we come back, we are going to talk about the rest of the episode. We're going to talk about the lip syncs. We're going to talk about all of that jazz.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
Dear Colgate, I love that you love that I love being at home. You even let me whiten my teeth from home. Because you know how I feel about getting up from my cloud couch. The Colgate Optic White LED Kit gives professional-level results in just 10 minutes a day for 10 days when used as directed. And that's why, Colgate, I want you to meet my parents. Because ever since meeting you, I've been living life to the brightest. Colgate Optic White. Find it at all major retailers.
This episode is supported by FX's Clipped, the scandalous story of the 2014 Clippers owner's racist remarks captured on tape and heard around the world. The series charts the tape's impact on a dysfunctional basketball organization striving to win against their reputation as the most cursed team in the league. Starring Lawrence Fishburne, Jackie Weaver, Cleopatra Coleman, and Ed O'Neill. FX's Clipped, streaming June 4th, only on Hulu.
And we are back. The cast of season 16 returns to the workroom for a quick catch-up. Amanda gives a season recap. Q feels disappointed, and all the returning queens wonder what Ru has in store for them. Later, Ru enters the workroom and announces the eliminated queens will compete in a lip-sync extravaganza for the title of Queen of She Done Already Done Had Herses. In the workroom, the queens get to into their best lip-sync looks. Mirage points out Megami went home, and Anne knew the lyrics. Hershey wishes she wasn't the first to go home, and Mirage has something to prove. Plain thinks Maya or Morphine will win. Maya wants revenge on Morphine, and Megami thinks she should have stayed over a shoeless Maya. A lot, and yet so little happened all the way up to those lip syncs. Nathan, any thoughts on all the pre-lip sync drama or?
Yeah, you could sort of see that. Well, I thought they were trying to set up a Morphine versus Maya showdown again, and it just didn't happen. So like that sort of kept me on my toes. But throughout this whole section, I was wondering, this can't be like the next day after Q got eliminated because
no,
she came in so chilled out, and I was really surprised. I'm thinking, was there a week? Or was it 2 weeks?
I think there might have been like a month. I know that they did it in August. I don't know when they finished completing it, filming, but Plain looked.
She looked different in Confession.
She looked different. In fact, I'm going to be honest with you. She's never looked hotter than she did in the workroom. She was reckon? I thought she was beautiful in the workroom. It looked like she had gained like 5 to 10 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly thought it felt like there had been some time passing. And I guess because they had to redo the whole stage and like make the queens learn like 9 lip sync songs. But I don't know, it just felt, dare I say, fresh? I don't know. I don't know. Q seemed chilled out. But my other question was, do you think they planned this with the top 4 in mind? Because the way the bracket worked out, like, it didn't make any sense to me. So I just don't know if this was like always planned from the beginning or if it was like a last minute thing or they weren't planning to eliminate Q.
This has been addressed. And actually, if someone asked about this on Reddit, and they said it wouldn't have really made a difference because these brackets work by a power of 2. So it would have been so you have 4, then it has to go to 8, then it has to go to 16, then it has to go to 32. So like you wouldn't have been able to, just adding one more person wouldn't have made the brackets work out. Let's do an experiment here.
Would it have made it worse?
Let's see. So I think I have a screenshot of how the brackets worked. Let me see here. I think it might have really actually fucked it up. It might be the other way around. It might be a thing where like it fucked up.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, did they just not enjoy Q so much that they thought, let's get rid of her, and they made it harder for themselves? Like, is that
I'm
what I'm
actually
thinking?
thinking it's the opposite. I'm thinking it's, so they had 5 rounds. So if we would have made it, you still would have had to do some shenanigans. So you would have still had to have that one of the winners went automatically to the final.
Yeah, see, I didn't like that so much because there was like potential for Maya to get to the final lip sync only ever having done it once in the first round. Like, if the cards fell a different way, that would have happened.
What you could have done, I'm sorry, you would not, that's not what would have happened. What would have happened is you would have had the winner go automatically to the semifinal. And then, no, that would have been the final. Yeah.
I don't know.
There wouldn't have been
confusing.
a semifinal. The next round would have been the semifinal.
I guess the point is it doesn't really matter the mechanics of it. It was just fun to see them lip sync. But I don't know. I was trying to conspiracy theory something about them just hating Q. Even though, as I said, she came in not being a bit of Betty, and it was actually quite a good look on her. And also, I found Dawn's commentary this whole episode really refreshing. For some reason, I was like, oh, she's not that bad.
She seemed to be having fun. You know, we're going to talk about her lip sync later, and I'm going to ask you a question about it. But it did seem she made a point, and because at first I was feeling sorry for people when they weren't winning. I'm like, oh, look, you came back, and you thought, oh, I might have it. But she said, you know, I knew I wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I don't care. I'm going to have fun. And I'm like, oh, a lot of them probably thought, oh, Maya, or the only person who probably thought they had a chance was Mirage, you know?
And then Maya's the opposite, where I think she thought she was so going to get it. Like in this workroom section, when she says that she let Morphine win, and she only gave 65% of her effort in that lip sync against Morphine. It's like, girl, I don't know if that's true.
It's not true at all. Because you wouldn't give 65% because you would know every time you lip sync, you have to give 150% because you have the track record, you know, of like being up for elimination so many times. So, and also someone who gives 65% doesn't throw a cape over somebody. Any other thoughts on this pre lip sync stuff?
No.
Okay. I have a couple of things I want to say. You know, they all walked in the workroom and this Plasma, everybody walks in. I'm like, oh, it's so nice to see them. It's like seeing old friends, right? I even see Plasma because Plasma sticks out because she is fucking white. She is the whitest white person ever. I think she's whiter than Dawn. Am I wrong? No, she's whiter than Dawn. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it glows. You know, she's so white. And I was like, oh, it's not nice to see her. And then she starts talking.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, this is.
Yeah. She annoyed me a lot later in the episode when she's on the couches because she just had so much commentary. And I was like, bitch, shut up.
Even in the beginning, she was like, just a lot. She was just so extra and cringy. I just saw, I think I posted this on Discord. Someone talking about how they got stuck, the worst nightmares, they got stuck among all these musical theater people on an airplane. And they were telling about the experience, and that would be if you were on an airplane next to Plasma. She would be that person, you know?
Let's sing to pass the time.
Yeah. Oh, God. Don't tell me. And I'm like, oh, no. Oh, God. Tsunami Muse. Okay, I want to talk about this. This comes up later. Again, just say. I mean, I don't know who to blame here. I don't know if the producers are telling the girls to say this. I don't know what the story is, but Tsunami Muse, they're all talking like, but we don't even know why we're here, right?
I know.
And then, like, yeah, we don't know. It's going to be a gag. Why are we here? Okay, so let's say you think you're coming back and doing a reunion, like a typical reunion, sit around the chairs and talk and stuff like that, right? Why would you then bring drag outfits that had wig reveals and tearaways? Like, did you think you were going to do that on the reunion?
And a list of 9 songs to memorize?
Yeah, and a list of 9 songs to memorize. Who are you fooling? The only thing that might have been a secret was how much money it was for, but they 100% knew why they were coming back to the workroom. It was ridiculous. So those are all my notes for everything that happened before the lip sync. Are you ready to get into the lip sync?
Sure.
Okay. Lip sync number 1. For people who don't watch the show, this was almost like a March Madness bracket style elimination. And the way it worked is there were going to be 5 rounds of preliminary lip syncs. Then there were going to be 2 or 3 semifinals. Something, and then another group of semifinals in the end. We'll go through it. There's 9 lip syncs total.
Yeah.
So what we're going to talk about is the first 5. And in those first 5, they had Bruno there, and they had a cage, and he would pull the name of a drag queen out. Now, before we get into that, Nathan, my question to you is, do you think the bingo cage, if you will, that there was riggery in the bingo cage?
Not really. I just don't know why he has to rattle it when he's just going to put a hand in and pick a random ball anyway. and it's such tiny font on the ball as well. And I don't know how RuPaul read it. So he would hold up this tiny little Q on a little ball, and then RuPaul would be like, Q. And I'm like, how can Ru see that? But
that's a really good point. I wonder if they shouted it and then she said it for the camera.
They must have. But yeah, I don't think there was riggery because I think they would have done a better job of setting up different showdowns, maybe?
I think the only riggery that they did was they held balls that they didn't want red. Does that make sense? Like, that the riggery was, well, we don't want them to call in a Morphine. We don't want them to call in a Maya. So we're going to take those balls out. They're not in the running. Only these other balls. So there could have been multiple Mayas, multiple mandatory meetings, plasmas. They could have multiples and held the other ones. I think you could play with it that way.
Yeah. And I think when it came to out of the 3, like who was going to pick the song, I think maybe they wanted Maya to pick that song.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, 100%. And then they could have had a
basket
full of
3
Mayas.
balls of Maya. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get to the lip sync, though. Let's get to lip sync number 1 first.
Sorry, before that, what do you think of the new stage?
I like it. I hope it's the permanent new stage. I don't see why not.
At first, I was a little bit distracted by the images in the background, but I really got into it, and I was like, "This is fun."
I like how they have this fancy, new, beautiful stage, and Dionanda is like literally a papier-mâché school project.
It's not even on a soundstage; it's at an airport hangar.
And guys, it is so tiny. Ru looks like a 50-foot woman on the soundstage. It's so funny. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so the first lip sync, the first name that's pulled, I believe, is a mandatory meeting.
No, Dawn.
And
she picks Amanda.
Pulls a mandatory meeting. Let's talk about that choosing first. What do you think? Why do you think Dawn chose it? What do you think's going on?
Well, she said it was for the song because she thinks Amanda would pick that song, but I don't think that would have. She could have picked any song and Dawn would have lost. I don't know. I think she just thought she's like, I probably had the better chance against Amanda. She thought maybe.
Well, no, I think it's the opposite. This is my conspiracy theory. I think, they know the mechanics of how this works. So I think Dawn was like, who's not quite, as we saw, not the best lip syncer. I think she was like, you know what? Like she said this later. I'm not going to win this thing. And let's assume she and Amanda are really friends. I'm going to give my friend the win.
And so they get to progress.
And I'll get to go backstage and drink and kiki with the other queens and relax and have a good time. And
that might be it.
I'm just going to mildly throw it. I'm going to call on Amanda, let her pick the song, and then I'm going to just not intentionally lose, but truly, like Maya said, give 65%.
Yeah, she didn't do much to justify her winning at all.
Yeah. So I think Amanda was clearly the winner. I don't know if you thought she was clearly the winner.
I did. I do think this is probably like the weakest of the lip syncs on the night. Like, it was the least exciting.
Yeah, and that's why I think the riggery is you start with some of the least exciting ones and build up. Okay, so we both agree on that one.
Yeah.
The next lip sync 2 is Q is pulled. Her name is pulled. And now she chooses, they were saying it's smart, but I thought it was too on the nose. She chooses Megami.
I thought they were hitting it really hard, how everyone backstage and like on stage and in confessional were like, oh, of course you'd pick Megami. She's the worst one there. Like they were really hammering that home.
Well, before the lip sync, I was like, that's a little too easy, Q. Come on.
Well, Q would never have beat anyone.
I know. And so I remember that. I'm like, oh, that's right. She's really, really bad at this. Your thoughts on this? I have the songs here. So lip sync 1, they sang Damaged by Danity Kane. Lip sync 2, this is with Q and Megami. They sang What About by Janet Jackson. Your thoughts here, Nathan?
Well, yeah, I'll say I enjoyed all the lip sync song choices. Like I think it was primarily quite good. We weren't dancing up there to like Kitty Girl or anything, so that was quite nice. I think Megami did a great job with this one. I think she rightfully won. I think anyone would have beat Q. And it was refreshing to see Q not pressed about losing for once. Like, that was a nice change. I was like, whoa, who's this person?
Well, I think she might have had the same philosophy as Dawn, which is like she knows she's not the best lip syncer, and she knows if she goes up against anyone remotely competitive, she's going to lose. So I think she did try. I will say that, but it might kind of be hurt to be hit. Well, no, because Megami did so well this episode that like, you're like, I wasn't going to win.
Yeah. Did you see Megami? She posted on Twitter or something, like her reasoning behind every decision she made that day. And she said she picked the Janet Jackson song. Was that the Janet Jackson song? Yeah.
Yes.
Because it was about domestic abuse. And she was like, I knew Q wouldn't have done her titty reveal to that song.
Yes.
Which I don't really have anything to add to that, but like, okay, Megami.
I feel, usually I would say like, who's really thinking about it that much? I'm like, Megami would think about it that much. So, you know what? She's right on this one.
Totally.
Give it to her. Yeah.
And this was Megami's only lip sync where she didn't have some sort of hand choreography, like a hand bit.
Actually, this was going to be the Q. I'm sorry. Megami got really lucky because this was actually the toughest one for Megami. Okay.
Yeah.
And then because the other ones, just because of the way everybody was going, the stupid songs were left over. The silly songs were left over, which was going to be Megami's strength against any other performers who were going to go. She was going to go up against the higher tier she went, because they're going to be able to nail those dance club classics, but not necessarily the stupid ones. Also, we just saw, if you just looked at it, Q is just not a really good performer. She can serve looks and she can serve tantrums, but she can't serve a lip sync performance.
She can serve alphabet soup.
Yeah, she can serve alphabet soup and all that, but she can't serve anything else. All right. Lip sync 3. It was Morphine's ball was pulled. She challenged Geneva Carr, who, again, you could say it's smart tactically. And this Geneva Carr chose the song $1 Million Baby by Ava Max. Your thoughts on lip sync 3, Nathan Patrick Brown?
I think this was my favorite of the night. I just thought Morphine did such a good job. Geneva Carr was all right, but Morphine, she's just so good at lip syncing. And I can see why she picked Geneva, because she's not scared. She could have picked anyone up on that stage. But I think also she thought she would save the showdown ones for maybe later. She was probably thinking, Maya will progress, I'll face off Maya later. But I also think Morphine probably could have beat anyone at that point in time.
Yes, it was going to be just like, it'd have been embarrassing if she didn't. I will say, Geneva did the first reveal of the night, and that's when I was like, oh, well, okay. And first of all, she did it really early, which I was like, that's a really bad time to do that reveal.
Yeah, but with the thing she was wearing, like, take it off, the sooner the better.
Now, I will say, I'm going to say two things. There's two sides of this coin. First of all, let's talk about that death drop. She did a death drop that was so embarrassing. Right? I was embarrassed for her, this death drop. Right? You guys, if you haven't seen the episode, just go watch this death drop. On the flip side, now I know how a fat person should do a death drop. How? Well, what Geneva Carr did. I will say, in terms of protecting herself and her health, it was what she did. I'm going to try it right now.
Do it. Gotta set the right mood.
Okay, this is gonna be good.
Okay, the headphones are off. Okay, he's getting up.
Can you wait? I gotta move this so I can do the camera right here. Okay.
All right.
What she did. For most people, they do the death drop. I wouldn't be able to do that. She did, but she went down on her knees.
Yeah, a squat. That's a squat and fall. And then you're just lying on your back. Yeah.
Squatted.
That was bravo, Joe. Bravo.
Yeah, thank you.
You did it right on the beat?
Oh, did I really?
No.
Oh, I couldn't hear it. And like, okay, here's the thing: the sad thing is, that was just from watching it, and my first time ever doing it. I don't even know. It was just as bad. She did it just as bad, and she probably practiced.
Yeah. She protected her lower back. She, protected her neck.
I think if I did a real death drop, they'd have to call. I would really die.
Call the paramedics.
But I could do that death drop.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you did a great
there
job.
has to be a way to practice it. That was me just trying. There has to be a way to practice it and make it look good.
Yeah. Yeah, so just to really get the listeners to visualize it, it was sort of just like you went into a squat and then you just fell back.
Yes. But you know what it benefits me too is I have a normal sized person's torso, but short legs.
Okay.
So my torso is longer than my legs, which I think also benefits being able to do, like, I can do squats no easy. I know a lot of people, I think tall people struggle. Do you struggle with squats?
I don't enjoy them, but I can do them.
Yeah. They're pretty easy for me, but,
Go off, sis.
But ask me to, like, walk more than I'm on.
What'd you think of Morphine's wig reveal? Like, I thought it could have been smoother, but it was still really fun. But, like, you could see that red line. And I was like, I wonder if she was, like, I wonder if she was always going to reveal it then and there, or if she was going to try and hold it over to lip sync number 2.
I think you kind of have to, because it's preventing you. Like, there's so much, when Jimmy Anti was on fairly recently, and we were talking about, like, there's this thing about, like, drag queens are like, you do not feel sexy in drag. The last thing, and I started, like, actually having, like, a tactile imaginary situation of what that would feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And it just must be so uncomfortable to have multiple wigs on and your balls in your body, and then things pads on you. And
yeah, I feel like that when I go into the office after working from home for so long, like putting on pants and shoes. Like, I feel.
Are you wearing shoes right now?
No, nor pants.
Yeah. Why are you pantsless?
Why not?
Anyway, all right. Next, lip sync number 4 is Hershey versus Mirage. On this one, Mirage, her ball was pulled. And then so she chose against Hershey Liqueur Jeté, who chose the song Alone 2.0. What did you think of this lip sync?
Oh, I really wished Hershey would have picked the Cher song just for, like, ultimate redemption for Mirage.
Yeah.
But I also kind of think that's why Mirage picked Hershey, because she was the only one not there for the Cher lip sync. Like, they were talking about it in the workroom, so Hershey must have had a vague awareness. But if Hershey had been there for Dark Lady, I think Hershey would have picked that just to, like, I don't know, try and mess with Mirage's head. But I think Hershey didn't pick up on that, because that would have been good. But Mirage definitely won fair and square. I love how Mirage lip syncs. She's just such a fluid mover.
She is. If Hershey was smart, though, she would have chosen, though, like, one of the stupid songs, like We Got the Beat, or the Shoop song by Cher. You're right, because that's where this is, because Mirage has the same weaknesses as Maya. They don't connect to the song really. They just do a lot of stunts.
Yep.
And so that's where Mirage would have struggled. That's probably why Mirage struggled with Dark Lady, because Dark Lady's not a very stunty song. It's like a story song. And that's why they had that Cher song in the competition for Mirage. Like, that's the only reason they picked that. I don't know, man. I'm going to tell you why. As someone who had a deal, and I didn't realize, and I used to make these same complaints and stuff like that. As someone who tried dealing with song licensing at one point for a different project, the fact that they even get any song on this show, is a miracle. It is so convoluted, so complicated. I wanted to play an old-timey song on Evergreen that no one really cares about. I reached out to the people, and they're like, yeah, you can do it for $10,000. And it was 30 seconds of the song. $10,000 for 30 seconds on a podcast.
That's crazy.
The problem is they knew Spotify was behind us. So they just saw dollar signs.
Money, Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Mirage won.
Yeah. Well, I thought, Hershey sort of proved why she was the first out. She was basically invisible during this entire lip sync.
Even when she stood directly in front of Mirage, my eye was still on Mirage's like knee bone.
Yeah, exactly. Mirage won though, and we'll talk about this in a bit. You can still see the cracks. You can still see the stunt shows, and I have a whole thing, but we'll get to this when we get later. Which one is more important about the cracks in Maya and Mirage? All right, the next one. This is the last one for the first round. It was a 3-way lip sync. This is one of the controversial lip syncs online. It was Plasma versus Maya versus Tsunami. The ball in that one was... Oh, there was no ball. Well, the ball was... They got to choose a song, right?
Maya's got to pick, and everyone was terrified.
Yeah. And she chose Milkshake. Now, ultimately, Maya was the winner. But what did you think of this lip sync?
This is the one where I disagree. I do think Plasma won that. Like, not to discount what Maya did. I think she was doing some amazing stunts. But just sheer positioning of the stage, the way Maya was up the back against the wall, whereas Plasma was dead center, like dead-eyeing the camera, hitting every beat. Like, I thought Plasma performed the song really well. And I see why Maya won. Like, it was that close. You could easily pick it either way. Like, I would have preferred Plasma's performance, but I see why they didn't want to get rid of Maya just yet.
I'm in complete agreement with you. It was very, very close. I probably would have given it to Plasma. You know, I think Maya's strategies, I just thought of this right now. Maya's strategy might have worked on the old stage. Just the design of the old stage with the runway strip, and also not as back, would have benefited Maya more. But the way the stage is, and that you have more room to dance and more room to walk around and more room to draw attention to yourself, it did not let the eye go to... Because so Maya just walked up. Maya spent a lot... Same thing with Q. I think probably Q had the same idea too. They spent a lot of time in the back of the stage, giving other people the opportunity to take the front of the stage, and I think that did not benefit either one of them. Yeah, so like Maya was almost not invisible, but like not at the beginning, not really the forefront of the first part of the song. And like here's the deal, and this is the same thing with Mirage. I thought Mirage did a great shows. Is the both of them have problems connecting to the song, because the way they get applaud is just doing twirls and stunts and kicks and flips. It reminds me, both of them, the way they perform and connect to the song. Remember Leslie Jordan had that video that went viral where he's like in a costume. He's like, look at me, daddy. Look at me twirl. Look at me twirl, daddy. You know?
Yeah.
It was like that. It was like, look at me, mama. Look at me twirl. Look at me. And it felt like that, but they're not connecting to the song. There is a difference. Morphine does connect to the song.
Oh, she does, for sure.
And Maya can connect to the song when it's in her wheelhouse. She can connect to the song. But if it's not in her wheelhouse, and maybe same is true with Morphine, but she just got lucky. They have trouble connecting.
Yeah.
And so
I think if Plasma was just that little bit funnier, like if she went funny, maybe she would have won. She can't. And that wig reveal was ugly. That wig was awful. That was an ugly wig. The wig was ugly. And Tsunami was there too.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot that too.
She was just having fun.
She's another invisible one. Yeah. All right, now we go to the next round, and we have Lip Sync 6, which is Megami versus Amanda. Now at this stage, I was thinking like, all right, it doesn't matter, because they're just dead in the water, you know? And they sang, the ball was chosen by Amanda. She went with Megami. And this is where they made the fatal error. So Megami now gets to choose. And she already knows the tricks she has up her sleeves. Luckily for her, no one has chosen the stupid songs. So she chooses the Shoop Shoop song by Cher, which is a fantastic choice. She said in her tweet why she chose this one against Amanda. Why was it, Nathan?
Oh, I can't remember. I just think Megami knew she was a comedy queen, but no one else knew it. And so she had that like weapon in her back pocket.
Yeah, because Amanda the entire time was just doing a standard lip sync. Oh, I think Amanda had said she didn't want to do that one. It was something like that. Like, let me see if I can find it on Twitter. She said, I perform that Cher song all the time, and I knew I could make it funny and camp against anyone. Okay, so she didn't mention Amanda. So she's performing that song all the time, which it showed. And yeah, so and Amanda just danced. Like the second they had the instrumental break, and Amanda was just giving your standard Mickey's on a Monday night performance. And Megami was doing the whole comedy bit.
Yeah.
She lost. Amanda lost right there. Okay, moving on. Lip Sync 7. Lip Sync 7, we have Morphine versus Mirage. On that one, Morphine says, got the ball, so she chooses the song? I don't get it. And her competitor was Mirage.
Yeah, that's because Maya had already progressed to the next stage, so there was just the two left, so she didn't need to pick anyone.
Okay, so Morphine chose This Time I Know It's Real by Donna Summer. What did you think of this lip sync? Now, this is one of those, like, this is really like the semifinals kind of thing, or, you know, who's going to win this?
Yeah, this was another really fun one, but I think, again, it comes down to connection, and Morphine just delivered it so well, and Mirage wasn't bad.
No.
I love watching Mirage, but it was more, just like a plant a smile on the face and spin around.
This is one where I thought to myself, you know, the thing with this one is Mirage leading early really hurt her here, because Morphine went almost to the end.
Yeah.
And so had a much stronger connection with the judges, knew them a lot more. They knew her a lot more. And so in the song, she could focus on that connection and perform for them in a very meaningful, connected way, where Mirage didn't really know them. And I think she did well. And then everyone should know, and maybe you agree, this was very close. And it could have gone either way. They both did a great job. I'm just saying the slight edge might have been that the judges just knew Morphine better and what she could do. What do you think?
I do think there's an element as well of this was Morphine's to lose, this whole competition. She'd already done hers was sort of designed for her. And I think she did an amazing job. I'm not saying it's rigor mortis, but I think she just had it in the bag. You know, last week, Saphira was like, it's predestined. Yeah. I will win. It's predestined. It sort of felt like that with Morphine.
Yeah. Lip Sync 8. We have, what is it? It's Megami versus Maya. They draw a ball, and the queen whose ball is chosen will get to choose the competitor, and the winner gets a free pass to the finals. The other one who's not chosen gets a free pass to the final. So the ball, Megami chose the ball, and now it's between, is Megami going to go into Maya or Morphine? She chooses Maya. So now Morphine goes to the finals.
Well, people were seemed to be gagged, being like, oh my God, she picked Maya. But theoretically, if Megami was going to win, she'd have to face both of them anyway. So it didn't really matter what order she picked.
Well, that's the other thing too, is Megami has in her back pocket that the only song left is We Got the Beat. There is a chance that Morphine could pull out a We Got the Beat dance.
Yeah.
But she knows the odds are much better in her favor if she chooses Maya, who's going to have trouble connecting with that song.
And I'm also appreciative of the fact that she picked Maya because, if she didn't, then Maya's just lip-synced once and got into the final, which doesn't feel fair if it doesn't feel fair, especially if the final was Megami versus Maya in that scenario. This is Megami's fourth and Maya's second. No way. Yeah. But also, I do think this is when the ball was just Megami because they
they wanted Megami.
She would lose and we would get Morphine and Maya. Yeah, in the final.
Because it was good. And then that's all I have is that it was just everything worked out where the last song was stupid. And now you have these, it was so Megami's favor. And then she pulled it out. Did you think Megami genuinely won that lip sync?
I was nervous at the start because she was doing the air guitar. Yeah. And whenever people do air instruments like that really pisses me off and got me a bit worried. And so I thought it was close. I thought it was closer than maybe they made it out to be. Maya might have actually won this lip sync, but then it is kind of more fun as a viewer. Yeah. To see her get beaten by Megami and be plucked for the rest of the episode. It's more interesting.
I think the producers are also surprised. And I think it's a gag. Let's go with this.
it makes the show more fun when it feels less planned out. And so for them to be like, hey, look, Megami's turning it out. Let's stick with Megami. Yeah, it's more of a payoff for us.
I'll bet you the producers also thought it was going to be Maya versus Morphine, and we're trying to help that along. And then they were like, you know what? This might be kind of fun, Megami. And let's go to the last lip sync, Morphine versus Megami. The song was already chosen. It was Gonna Make You Sweat. The one that goes, Everybody Dance Now by CNC Music Factory. The eliminated one was Megami. The winner was Morphine. But I'm going to tell you, what were your thoughts, Nathan?
I don't think it was a massacre.
No.
I think Megami held her own. I just think Morphine is just so fucking good that it's just like you'd have to really, really pull out stunts.
It was the end of Rocky.
Yeah. The sock puppet, I thought it was cute. She just did something that she could try and do. I thought it was funny how Maya watching along was like, this bitch doesn't even know the words, as if like they're not actually singing.
Well, yeah, she's not actually singing. Also, too, like, to do what Megami was doing, she has to know at least some degree of the words, because she has, not the miming part, but she has to know how, she turns her back at one point. She has to know how long the person's singing for.
Yeah, Megami knew every fucking inch of every one of those songs. She was prepared. She knew it. She just thought, I've got to be silly. Like, that was her crutch that she was relying on, and it was paying off. Yeah. I just think once Morphine got out the air bazooka, that sealed the deal. I love when a queen bazookas the other opponent. It's just so cool.
Even though the bazooka wasn't warranted because she didn't massacre her, but it's probably closer than Morphine would have been comfortable with. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
And you know, and I don't have to say like I'm Two-Face. I've talked shit on this Megami the entire season. Have used her and held her up as the avatar for the stereotypical terrible drag queen. I think, and I still think her looks are horrible. I think she looked horrible on the show, but she fucking any given Friday, she fucking pulled it out this episode, and you know, props to her mama. Nathan, any final thoughts on this episode?
Well, just on Megami, it really pays to know your worth. Like, she knew her worth when we all discredited her, and like, fuck, if this is the queer art that we're protecting, like, go off and protect it, sis. Like, I really enjoyed her this episode.
Well, I also think she bought herself a ticket to All Stars.
I think so.
I think she wouldn't have been a contender before, but now she bought herself a ticket to All Stars.
Yeah, she did great.
Yeah, good job. Good job, Megami. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Be sure to join us next week as we discuss, dissect, and deconstruct the season finale of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16. So, for Nathan Patrick Brown and myself,
you get a BBL, you get a BBL, you get a BBL.
Thank you for listening to Drag Race Recap. Have something to say? Leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can also email us at dragracerecap@afterthought.media. For more Drag Race and LGBTQ content, support us over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. This podcast was produced by Zach Birch. Nathan Brown has another podcast. It's called Bravo, Bravo, Effing Bravo. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow Nathan Brown on Instagram at NathanBrown90. Follow Joe Batance on Instagram at Joe Batance. Special thanks to these expensive tier Patreon supporters: Alex S., Anonymous, April Pacheco, Astute Girl, Brad Coley, Philsket Pony, Deckhead, Doofus Maximus, E. Smith, Elizabeth Tinner, Emma, Humble Pie, Isaac Martin, Jade Thomas Plank, Jesse Harris, Kathy Zender, Lauren Eckert, Lucy Carrasco, Luke Stamen, Mike Yeager, Nikki Baker, Poppy Woods, Ricardo the Hood Edoff, Robert NYC, Sarah Yu, Runner Brandon, Tom Bombs, Travi Cosmos, Troy Anderson, and Zach Nelson. Drag Race Recap is an Afterthought Media podcast.
Say goodbye to your credit card rewards. Greedy corporate mega stores, led by Walmart and Target, are pushing for a law in Congress to take away your hard-earned cash back and travel points to line their pockets. The Durbin-Marshall credit card bill would enact harmful credit card routing mandates that would end credit card rewards as we know it. If you love your credit card rewards, tell your lawmakers, hands off my rewards. Tell them to oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill.